Hello there, and a huge welcome to today's episode of Gina Gardiner and Friends. And today I'm joined by Glenda Benevides. She's an award-winning singer, songwriter, a Recording Academy voting member, a Grammy-considered singer-songwriter, and an author, among many other things. And we're going to be exploring today how artists make a difference. I've known Glenda for a number of years. She is an amazing performer and an incredible lady. So Glenda, a huge welcome. Thank you very much for joining me.
That's beautiful, Gina. You're so you're so graceful.
Thank you.
I love connecting with you. Just a lovely human being. So and
Thank
you
you.
make a difference.
So before we get started on our theme, which is about artists making a difference, just share with us your story because you've had a most amazing career.
Thank you for that. It's so funny. I was just talking with a good friend of mine about how you just, you do stuff, you follow your passion, you get in there, you do the work, you and then when it's done, you've moved on, right? And so when you step back in life, sometimes you look back and go, "Well, what have I done?" And you go, "Nothing." Until people show up in your life or till you actually take inventory of what you've actually done.
Mhm.
And then you start to realize, oh my goodness, I really have made a difference, or I really actually have been in action. And, I've done the things that I wanted to do in life. I've traveled, I've helped people, those type of things. You don't really notice it, when you're sitting in the moment, you're like, so I've had people go, well, who are you? What do you do? And you just sit there and go, I don't know. It's like, that's not true. So,
I think one
um,
of the challenges is that what you do is so normal to you, to one,
right.
that you don't actually recognize that to other people that that's something special because it is who you are and what you do.
Right, right. It's so easy to overlook. Just kind of jumping back, 1,000 years with me. I really knew when I think I was about, let's see, as soon as I hit junior high, I think I was like, I don't know what age that is, 13, 14, something like that. And I remember walking down the halls going, why do you want to sing? Why do you want to continue with music? Because I'd always listened to music as a kid and before school and I was always in the choirs. I was the first person, at a grade school to join the what they call a swing choir, which is like you're the only person in your section. It was a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Back when you're a kid. And I just thought to myself, why? Why is that important for me? And I remember the voice in my head as I was walking down the hall, and never forget the day. It said, "Because I wanna make a difference." And that was way before the word "make a difference" was very popular. So, I just knew, and I followed my path, I followed my passion, and I just put one foot in front of the other, and the next thing I know, I was professionally singing at 16 and never stopped.
So if I asked you, what does music mean to you? Why is singing and music so important to you?
I really believe that all of us have a special something, a special gift. And sometimes it's singing, sometimes it's painting, sometimes it's athletics. It doesn't matter. It just what matters and what's important is that you find you and that you find the inspiration inside of you that this is a gift that you want to share. And I think for me, music was solace. Music was a way to transform myself. It was also a way of escaping, from family lives that maybe you didn't really appreciate. Let's just put it in a kind way. Um, and as a young person, when you're coming into your hormones, life can seem gloomy and of course it does, add in all the other possible trials and challenges, as a young person. And I think music really helped me. It really helped me live into my spirit world too.
the finding what you're good at, because we've all got something that we're good at, haven't we? But so many
Yes.
people dismiss themselves because they
Yeah.
compare themselves with other people. And I would think that probably the music industry is, or the media industry are very harsh around comparing one with another. How
Yeah.
did you manage that?
Ignorance.
Can be very useful at times.
um, again, I didn't have any, I wasn't born in LA. I wasn't born into a famous family. I didn't have all the opportunities that everybody had. I came from a blue collar worker family, and they didn't sing. We did have music in the house, but it wasn't a focus. And I really found, while you tap into your inner gifts, you start to see things will start to unfold. Things will start to develop. And that just happened to be my path. And then I just happened to go, people were going, wow, that's amazing. I was one of those kids at 13. They went, wow, that voice is huge. Like that's a really mature voice. And as we see, like nowadays you can watch TV and you see like that 4-year-old that sounds like a 28-year-old, you know what I mean? You're like, wow, I was one of those, right? Back in the day. And so I think the more that you find your passion, you start to develop yourself. And then when you get the feedback from people, not to say that they should tell you who you are, who you're not, but you can kind of see like people are like, that's really good, or I really enjoyed that, or, you really uplifted me, or you make me feel good when you do that. Then you kind of like ding, 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 ding. The bell goes off in your head, like, okay, I'm enjoying it too. So this must be my path.
Yes.
Right. So that's,
So as far as we're aware at the moment, you've gone into the professional world of singing at the age of 16.
yeah.
You're a little older than 16 now, just a little bit.
Okay.
Um,
Chronologically, yes.
so how do you move from going into the professional world to becoming, a Recording Academy voting member or a Grammy considered singer-songwriter? That's a significant journey, isn't it?
It is. It is. Again, I'm gonna tell everybody, you just have to follow your passion, and you just don't let anything stop you. And I think things reveal themselves as you go along, if you're on the path that you're supposed to be on at that time. And so what happened for me, I had been doing music for over 25 years and longer, actually, and professionally. And what happened was I became aware um, of the Recording Academy. It was always there, but I, for some reason, wasn't focused there. So what I did was I thought, oh my goodness, I've been doing this for so long and I love music and I do this professionally. I should be like acknowledged or something, like I wonder what that looks like. And so I got online, like it was like 3 years ago. I got online. I thought, Recording Academy, how do you get into the Recording Academy? Um, Plus, on top of it, I wanted to be in a community that was on my level. I'm not the kid that plays down at the coffee shop that just started, you know. So I've been doing this for a really long time. So anyway, I wanted to so I researched it. I found out the process of actually how you do that, how you get into it, and then you have to be. It's a club, it's like any club. Then you have to be, you have to follow the rules. You have to be accepted into it, la 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 la, like that. So that's kind of how that happened. And then it doesn't mean that you make it in. My first round, when they said, okay, you've got 2 recommendations to be in our circle, basically. And I went, oh, cool. And then I had to fill out the form. And what I didn't do was I didn't know what they were looking for, as far as like, what should I say on my application form? Right. That's like half the battle. And you can really mess that up. I mean, it'd be like in your SATs or when you're trying to get into college or something, you sometimes you've got to make a basically a pitch. Is that
I would say so. You're selling yourself, aren't you, ultimately?
right? Yeah. And I think I failed at that because they didn't accept me. So
Okay.
so the next year, and of course I felt like a failure. The next year, a good friend of mine that's in the Recording Academy said, "Oh, Glenda, you've misrepresented yourself. Like you need to go deeper. You need to tell them, you know, why you as a woman and as an artist are making a difference. I mean, there's all these things that I do philanthropically that I didn't say anything about in my email to them, right? So they're not getting a real sample of like who the authentic person is. You know, I was trying to do all my accolades or all that kind of crap, and they were like, "Well, who cares?" And so once I did that, they were like, "You're in. We want you." You know,
We're going to go to a short break, but when we come back, what I'd like to do is to explore the songwriting process and you as a songwriter. So please don't go away. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back. Glenda, you're a songwriter and you're an award-winning songwriter. Why is it important to you to write songs? And do you write for yourself or do you write for other people too?
I do both actually. I I just had a kiss came away with a dream last night that I had written a song and Beyonce and Alicia Keys were singing it, and I was like, "Oh, no, 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 that's not how you do that."
I take it
Anyway,
this was a
that was
dream, did you say?
yeah, that was in my dream, and I'm like, "Oh, man, that was crazy." But, no, I mainly have written for myself and you know, to further my career basically in that respect, because I am an entertainer, I am a singer, and I am a songwriter. So, and I love to do all of it. Um, my main focus has always been myself at this point and how I can make that difference, right, through my artistic ability. And you know, and of course, I just wrote a song called Unbreakable, and it's not out yet, but it will be. And I've got a few versions. One version is like more of a dance version. It's really beautiful, and it really talks about, you know, allowing people to just really see how they are unbreakable, how strong they truly are, and that you can really allow yourself to shine. So I wrote that song. I wrote it in more of a ballad form. I tried to do it. I didn't really like it. It just wasn't right. And so my inner voice was just saying, you know, let so and so do it. Let so and so do it. And I know this fabulous singer. Her name is Kathy. Uh Kathy anyway, Kathy. And Kathy is a beautiful gospel singer, and I gave it to her, and it's just lovely. It's so beautiful. So that's an example of me going, letting spirit go, no, 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 just let the right vibration, let the right person do that song. You know, even though I wrote it, she can sing it, unless I, you know, unless of course I do it justice, you know, then it should be mine. But
So
so
what is it that prompts you to write the song? Do you write the lyrics first or the music first? What's behind the I have a song in me, I need to get that song out?
yeah. I play guitar and mandolin, but I sometimes I write on it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's more lyrical for me. And I've got a partner that I work with. His name is Gene Williams, a musical partner, and also a wonderful co-writing partner slash mix engineer in the UK. His name is Jeremy Munns, and he's fabulous. And he and I now are working on stuff together that at the current moment on a song called Pride. Anyway, Jeremy's awesome too. So how we do it is like we started out with a sketch. So Gene and I wrote the song Pride. We
Mhm.
started out with this acoustic sketch. So Gene's playing guitar, and then I had the lyrics. So I just took the guitar melody and we just kind of did it together. It was an interesting live experience, right? Sometimes Gene will uh, write the music. He'll record it, of course, and send it to me. And then I put lyrics and melodies to it and that kind of thing. So it can happen in any way. It's just each song has its own DNA. It has its own voice. So it's different every time.
So remind me of the name of this particular song so people can make sure that they go and listen to it.
Sure. Well, we're in the process. of a couple of new songs, but the song that I was going to share with you guys a little bit about is called I Burn. And that's the song that is up for consideration for a Grammy this year, the 66th Grammy Awards. Fingers crossed I get nominated. So voting is already in. And so we're really excited about it. And it was a fun story. It's actually not my story. Gene actually wrote it. I've rearranged some of the words, but it's fantastic. The song is beautiful, beautiful. I'm so proud of it. And if you want to hear the story about it, it's pretty hilarious. So when I first heard the song, I thought it was a love, a passion. You were just dying for this person, and that you just love them so much that you burn for them passionately, right? Well, come to find out, I found out like years later, I just found this out. This is hilarious. Gene pulled me aside and said, so how are you, interpreting the song? And I told him, and he said, oh, that's interesting. Cause he said the story, he's from the Midwest, right? So the story was floating around about this guy that had a wife that was cheating on him. And he found out, and he followed her to the house that that she was having an affair. He saw what was going down, and he burned the house to the ground and watched it burn. So it's like I wasn't interpreting the song at all like that. So pretty interesting how everyone writes a song from an inspiration, and other people get different things, even the singers, even as interpreters.
I think that's a really powerful way of recognizing that for anybody listening to a piece of music, that how you are in that moment, how your emotional state is, your experiences and your way of being will ensure that you interpret that based on your own perceptions and your own map of the world. And I think one of the interesting things for me is how powerful music is. If you need to be lifted up, you can find music that will do that. If you want to just wallow in being sad for a bit, then you can find music that will help you do that. You can find music for everything, can't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what's funny about it is that we all have our likes and dislikes based on our time frames in our life and what we're going through. And no one can really judge what is good or bad. I mean, you can, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there are some people that thrash metal helps them so much because it like transforms their feelings or their thoughts or their anger, their anguish, whereas something like that for me, maybe at this point in my life, like, no, that's okay. That's abrasive, right?
It just gives me a headache.
Correct.
Or,
Or,
probably to do with my age, I have to tell you.
possibly, but yeah, it's different styles, different ages, different levels, for because it is medicine. Just like food is medicine. We all know when we were kids, we loved pizza, and then maybe when you hit 45 or 50, you kind of go, that's okay. That doesn't work for me anymore.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's medicine. So if you're not getting what you need from it, same thing with music and making a difference,
And music is so varied. There's something for everyone. We're going to go to another break now. Please don't go away because we've got so much more to talk about. Welcome back. Now, you're an author. Tell me about the latest book.
Great. Thank you. Yes, it's called Courage. Find your fire and ignite action in your life. And it started out, I never really considered myself officially an author. Like there are some people that's what they're passionate about. They've got like 25 books on their shelf, they've written them all. For me, it came out of more like, how hard could it be to write a book?
An interesting question.
Yeah, right. And so it became a challenge for me. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to, first of all, the first question was, do I have anything to share? Do I have anything in my life that is valuable? And I really sat with that. And I thought, I've been one of those kind of gals that I only work on myself and I transform my life consistently. I'm always working inside, inner, outer. And I thought, I'm helping other people. What is it that I'm saying to other people, or how am I being that support? And so the first thing that came to mind was, well, what everybody says is you have so much courage. How do you do that? How do you have your bravery to, to show up and, be in the recording academy or do this or write that? Or so I started looking at that. I created an outline for it. And then I just went, okay, 15 days, I'm writing 15 chapters. And I did it. And then I sat on it for a while because my music partner and he was moving back from Boston and he was going to move out to California, which is where I'm from. So then when COVID hit, I went, all right, I'm settled into the house. Let's just pull this baby out, dust it off. So, and that was only like 8 months, but, I took a look at it and I sent it to a friend, AKA she was a coach of mine. And I said, hey, take a look at this, see what you think. And she wrote back and she said, oh my God, this is a book. She's like, you've got to share this with people. And this would be a real support for anybody that's really looking to explore and discover who they are as a human being and how they can really have the creativity and then get it out into the world, so it creates an impact for people based on who you are. And so I went, okay, so I did. And there you have it. There it is.
So remind people what the book is called and where they can find it.
Yeah, you can actually find it on Amazon. It's pretty easy. It's called Courage, Find Your Fire and Ignite Action in Your Life. And that's by Glenda Benevides. So yeah, you just pop it in the text box or not text box, but in any browser and you'll find it.
One of the things that strikes me, knowing you and talking to you, is that you're a woman of great depth, and that one of the things that you do is to help other people, that you have been a philanthropist. And I'd just like you to share the sort of things that you've been doing, because I think people very often only look at the surface and don't see the depth of the person underneath.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm doing a couple of different things. Right now, I'm actually planting trees. And what I mean by that is I work with a company called One Tree Planted, and I send them money to plant trees. So basically, whenever you buy any of my merchandise or my book or my music at all, what I do is I send $1 of that to One Tree Planted, and then I pick where they can actually plant trees. So right now, my last batch, I right now have planted almost 200 trees. So Scotland gets a lot of my trees. We need to give them some
The
trees.
UK, thanks you.
You're welcome. I love the UK, so my favorite. So I planted there, and then I just planted in Canada and then California. So we've got trees going there, and that's part of my give back. That's part of my you help me, and by helping me, you're inspiring your life by either reading my book, listening to my music, buying a t-shirt, a mug, whatever. So you get something, and then I take what you give me and I give back. So in a way, we're all helping each other to uplift. Right.
Absolutely.
So you don't have to go on your own and go, oh, I got to figure out who I'm going to donate money to, or do I have money to donate? It's like, no, inspire yourself. And guess what? You help my business and I get to help another business. So this is kind of my mentality on things. I get to help people help themselves. So,
well, we're running out of time, but before we finish, we belong to Buy One, Give One, B1G1. And we invite all of our guests to choose one of 4 themed donations. The projects may differ, but the themes stay the same. So the 4 themes are clean water, health, education, and reforestation. And we then donate on the behalf of our guests. So which of those 4 would you like us to donate to?
Reforestation.
I thought it might be.
I love it. I love it. I'm definitely a big oceans woman too, because that's I worked for Environmental Cleanup Coalition. So they're
Brilliant.
awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show. Really do appreciate that. Where can people find you?
They can go to my website and peruse around. I've got all kinds of fun things on there, and you can buy my stuff. And you also have, I have a retreat that's coming up in April, so you can check that out. It's called Soul on Fire, Own the Goddess Within. And you can find it on glendamusic.com, which is pretty easy, Glenda, and it's music.com. Or you can do my full name, glendabenevides.com. And that's
Thank you.
spelled Benevides.
Thank you very much indeed. And thank you very much for listening. And remember, just by listening, you help other people, because we donate meals based on the number of people who listen to the show. So you can feel good about listening to the show. Not only do you have a great experience, but also you're doing some good for people who otherwise would go to bed hungry today. So thanks very much for joining me, Glenda. Thank you for listening. I'd love to hear from you. My email is Gina, Gina, Gardiner, Gardiner, and friends@gmail.com. So thanks for coming. Do join us on the next show. Bye-bye now.